We launched this new bathroom products line on Amazon, grew it to 60,000 a month run rate in just a couple months. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how we did it, breaking down campaign by campaign, every campaign that we used to launch this product on Amazon. Our Amazon product launch is dead. Is it impossible to launch a product profitably on Amazon now? The answer is no. We do this every week. This particular launch I'm gonna run you guys through had a 26% ACoS, which was very profitable for it and is running super profitably right now. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. Not only did we launch this product profitably to 60K a month in revenue, but we also did it very, very simply using a super simple strategy that you can take home and copy and paste into your next product launch yourself to help you be profitable on your next product launch. And I'm gonna walk you through exactly what this strategy was in this video. So this product line was a line of towel products, and we launched these actually in the Canadian market. The demand is a little lower, significantly lower in the Canadian market, but also the competition is significantly lower in the Canadian market. So this might be a much higher volume category in the US market, but it would be like equivalent to like a niche of a niche in the Canadian market. So like a small niche of a niche inside the US market might be equivalent in terms of the level of competition to a larger niche in the Canadian market. I actually did just a coaching call today where a guy was selling poop bags, like dog poop bags, and the top sellers had over 200,000 reviews. And I was telling him, look, you know, if you want to launch this in this market, you have to have a serious budget to be able to rank #1. But if you chose a niche of a niche, like maybe dog poop bags for huge dogs that have really big poops, I'm sure that's a niche, I don't know. But then you might be able to compete with a lower budget, a lower launch budget. Another thing that you can do though is launch the same product in another market where the competitive landscape is different, like Canada or the UK or Germany or Japan. And that might be a market that your budget can be competitive in. But really high competition categories in the US market, you need a bigger budget. In general, the more the search volume for the primary keyword and the more intense the competitive landscape, the higher your budget has to be. So let's get into the actual campaign. So you can see this product line was launched in September, and then we grew it throughout the holiday season where we spiked sales. So this was actually a really perfect time for us to launch. Sales dropped a little bit after that, and then we had a few SKUs that stocked out, and then sales continued to climb, and they're continuing to climb now. So that's the status of the product. Let's look into the actual campaigns themselves. So the product line that we launched here was a couple of towel sets. So they're bathroom products. And what I've done here is I've organized the campaigns by the most sales down to the least sales. And you can see the top couple of campaigns actually have the lion's share of all the sales. A lot of times it's not really like that, where there's a smoother distribution between the different campaigns. But in this case, you could see the top 3 campaigns have somewhere around 80% of the total, 70 to 80% of the total sales across all the campaigns. So I'm gonna show you the top campaigns that had the highest leverage impact on this launch and what we did to make them really profitable. You can see our average ACoS here was 27%, which is really good for a product launch, especially a new product launch in the first couple of months. But the really interesting thing that you'll see here, and this is part of that simple secret strategy that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, is the click-through rate. So the click-through rate you could see in the first 2 months of the launch was a bit lower, 0.33, 0.36, and then we did something that increased the click-through rate pretty dramatically, not quite doubling it, but increasing it by like 60% here, going from 0.3 to 0.5. And it maintained that even after the holiday season. So you know that wasn't just a higher click-through rate because there were more high-intent shoppers during the holiday season. It maintained that after into the new year. So that was one of the biggest things that allowed us to have this launch be really profitable and actually start generating profit really quickly early on. So I'll get into that in a second, but let's look at the actual campaigns first. So the first campaign that you see here is a sponsored product auto campaign. So let's click into this campaign and you can see how it was set up. For auto campaigns, when you are setting up your targeting, you have 4 basic options: close match, complements, loose match, and substitutes. Close match and loose match are about the keywords that Amazon is gonna target you for. And complements and substitutes are about the other products that Amazon is going to advertise you on. So close match and loose match means Amazon is going to advertise you for keywords that are either a close match to the keywords that match your product or a loose match. And complements means Amazon is going to advertise you on products that complement your product, whereas substitutes means Amazon is going to advertise you for products that are a substitute for your product, i.e. the same type of product. So in this case, since they're bath towels, substitutes means Amazon is going to advertise me for other products that are bath towels. So you can see we have close match, complements, and substitutes turned on, but loose match turned off. And that's just because that match type wasn't performing. You can also see, if I scroll over here, that complements isn't really performing either. It only spent a couple dollars, and it's really not getting impressions. So that one will probably turn off as well. But both close match and substitutes are generating sales, although close match is doing better. The ROAS for the substitutes is still acceptable to us, so that's why we left it on, but we may end up splitting that out into 2 campaigns at some point now that we see how much better close match is working. And in general, this is kind of a rule when it comes to auto campaigns: is close match should always be your first try, substitutes should always be your second try, complements and loose match are usually less likely to perform really well. Now that is our top selling campaign with $32,000 in total PPC sales at a 28% ACoS. And this is something that surprises some people still, that auto campaigns can be your main driving campaigns. You can see the next one we're about to get into is also another auto campaign. There was a trick to getting these auto campaigns to perform really well, which was a setting we enabled a couple weeks into launch that I'm going to tell you guys about in a second. I have another whole video about this. Auto campaigns can perform really well in Amazon PPC now. They used to be just for gathering new keyword targets, and it was a good way to waste a lot of money putting on auto campaigns on your Amazon PPC. But now it's not like that. Auto campaigns can really be a driver of actual success and actual performance. And we have quite a few accounts where auto campaigns are our top selling campaigns and even our top performing campaigns. And that's just because we're just at the point where Amazon's algorithm has so much data. It's had a decade plus of collecting data. It's just getting better and better at targeting. And that's where the cooperation between your actual campaign optimization and your campaign creation and your listing and thumbnail optimization actually come into play. So I'm gonna take a sip of water, and you guys with your misophonia aren't gonna freak out about it. And then we're gonna go into that little secret that I talked about a second ago. Okay, let your boy hydrate, please, without freaking out in the comments with your misophonia. So what we did here, the secret that I was talking about, the simple thing that we did, before I get into the next auto campaign and the tweak that we made on it, is we simply let some campaigns run for the first couple weeks. You could see, September was when we launched, then October, and you could see we grew a little bit, and then we really spiked in November and December, and we continued that momentum in January, and now in February when I'm recording this, we're only partway through the month, like about a third of the way through the month, but we'll continue this momentum here. And the reason that we were able to really juice this is this green line here, this click-through rate. You see the click-through rate jumped up significantly. Also, the conversion rate jumped up as well. And we did that through mobile optimized content optimization, utilizing the data we were getting back from the PPC. This is the boring but effective thing that creates really profitable launches. And I need to shout out my boy DK, also a Jersey boy, member of the Sophie Society team that oversaw the growth of this account and had the wisdom and insight to focus on utilizing the PPC data to improve the click-through rate and conversion rate by focusing on mobile optimized content. Mobile optimized content, that's the key. Let me show you what I mean by that. So here's what the listing looks like on desktop, but that's not really what we care about, because 3/4 of the traffic that you're gonna get to your listings actually comes from mobile, not desktop. So it's more that you should be thinking, how does my listing and my thumbnail look on mobile? And then check that it also looks good on desktop, not the other way around. So I'm gonna click my little mobile view here so you can see what these look like on mobile. So we structured the primary image so that the search results on mobile actually had text on a little label that was readable from a mobile screen. And this is one of the key parts that we were able to put these features that we knew that our shoppers were searching for on this label that was coming off of the towel that allowed us to get a much higher click-through rate. And we know that our click-through rate is higher than our competitors because we benchmarked it. If you want to know how to benchmark your click-through rate, meaning know whether or not your click-through rate is good or bad compared to your competitors, check out this video in my channel where I show you how to benchmark your click-through rate against your competitors. It also shows you how to benchmark your conversion rate against your competitors. By the way, this is an absolute wizardly tactic. If you don't know how to do this, I highly recommend that you check out this video. I'm going to link it also at the end of this video so you can tap it easily on your screen. But if you don't know how to benchmark click-through rate and conversion rate, then you just don't know if your click-through rate is good or bad. And in that case, you also don't have the insights to know how to improve it. And increasing your click-through rate and increasing your conversion rate, along with increasing your average order value and lifetime value, are two of the most powerful ways to improve the profitability and the margin of your launch and of your product on Amazon. So that's for those of you guys that have ever come to one of my profitable PPC challenges. That's what we call the catapult phase, where we have data collection in the first couple weeks. Then we use the data from the PPC, from the search query performance report and from the search term reports to determine what needs to change about the click-through rate and conversion rate in terms of content that we can upgrade, and even changes in the title and the copy. And then we load those changes. That makes basically a guaranteed big boost in click-through rate and conversion rate, which then allows us to dump a lot more money into ads more profitably, which dramatically boosts the amount of sales and the amount of profitable sales that we can generate from the launch. And that's why we call it the catapult phase. So the first few weeks is data gathering, then you're gathering insights from the data, taking actions on that data, and then starts catapult, where you just dump more ad spend into the search terms and into the targets that are working well with the new higher click-through rate and conversion rate that you now have based on the changes that you made from that data. And that little example that I showed you with the tag on these towels is just one small example, but there are dozens of ways that you can do this. If you want to learn more about this, I really suggest that you guys come to our next event. You could find that on our website, sophiesociety.com, and you can learn all about how to do this yourself. Okay, next campaign down the list is another auto campaign. Now, I'm not going to click into that because it's very similar to the last campaign, but what I am going to show you guys is a little tweak that we made to these campaigns that made them perform much better. Now, if I click into one of these auto campaigns, I can show you what this tweak is. It's under this little section here called bid adjustments, and it is the audience bid adjuster. This is something that's fairly new that came out a couple months ago on sponsored product ads, that you can create a bid adjuster for certain audiences. The most important one being this one, which is high interest based on shopping history, that used to be called most likely to purchase based on recent shopping history. Same thing. This audience bid modifier can produce better results. So this audience bid adjuster can have a significant impact on the performance of your campaigns. Now, you might be like me and you might ask, hey, Amazon, why don't you just always show my ads to people that have a high interest based on their shopping activity? And if you were to ask that, you would be right in asking that. What is the answer to that question? I don't know. But now Amazon gives us the ability to increase our bids for shoppers they think are likely to purchase our product. So why would we not use it? This doesn't always work, but it works a majority of the time. We have hundreds of accounts that we use this audience bid adjuster on since it came out a couple months ago. And more often than not, it works. You can see in this case, the ACoS on this audience is better than the ACoS of the campaign as a whole. And it's definitely better than the ACoS of the account as a whole. So that proves that it does in fact work. And this is a bid adjuster that we use on a number of campaigns to boost their performance further after we were a couple weeks into the launch. Now let's keep on going down the list to the third highest selling campaign, even though this is already less than half the sales of the top selling campaign. You can see how skewed the sales are here. But this is a broad modified campaign, also in sponsored products. In fact, you'll see that the top 6 campaigns here are all sponsored product campaigns, which I know you guys are gonna probably call me a hypocrite here because you hear me banging my drum about how important sponsored brand campaigns are. In this case, we saw good performance with sponsored products. We didn't have great assets to run with sponsored brands at the time, and so we just ran with it and it worked really well. But in general, this would be the exception to the rule. I highly recommend always using sponsored brand campaigns, in particular video campaigns. It's just that this launch, for whatever reason, this one did not include that. But you'll see that Look at this campaign, for example, 12% ACOS, 11% ACOS. We were getting ACOS with these sponsored product campaigns that were working really well. And this is in large part due to the mobile optimized content that we updated a couple weeks into the launch after analyzing and looking at the PPC data. So this third one is a broad modified campaign. What does that mean? It means we targeted keywords and we put a plus in front of the words that we wanted Amazon to always include in the term, but allowed Amazon the leeway to advertise on other terms that included that word in it, but had other words included in it as well. So let me give you some concrete examples of this. We'll click into the ad group here. And here in targeting, you'll see what I mean. So we have plus bath towel set. This means always include the word bath, but you can change around the words towel set, change the order of them, or change the words themselves. That's what we're telling Amazon. We have plus bathroom towel set. We have plus towel set, and we have towels plus sets for bathroom. So anything with the plus in front of it, it's telling Amazon to keep that word in. Now, Amazon doesn't actually always keep the word in. Amazon is getting loose even with the broad modifier now, but it still does have an impact. So if there's words that you want to make sure are included in your broad campaigns that give Amazon more leeway to tighten them up a little bit, this is a good way to do it. And this campaign performed well for us, allowing us to further scale sales past the auto campaigns. Next, we have more auto campaigns and more broad campaigns and more auto campaigns. You could see some of them getting really, really healthy ACOS, balancing out the ACOS that might have been higher for the campaigns we were able to scale further. And then down here, you get a defensive campaign. This has the lowest ACOS yet at 10.6%. What this campaign is it's us advertising our products on one another's product listings. This is really critical because one, it can give you low ACOS sales because you're advertising to someone who's already familiar with their brand, literally by definition, since they already have to be on one of your listings. And two, it also prevents other competitors from stealing your sales, which is an unseen draw against your revenue that you would have gotten, because Amazon is, remember, your listings aren't yours, they're Amazon's. Amazon is advertising all kinds of other brands' listings on your listing. So in order to stop that from happening, the only way to do it is to crowd them out by doing what we call shielding, which the rest of the world likes to call defensive campaigns, but we do it much harder and from many more angles, which is why we call it shielding. It's a whole different strategy. I have a whole video on it. It looks like this on my channel. You can check it out. But the point is, this, if you have a full product line or multiple products, this is almost always a fundamental. You should do brand shielding and sponsored products, sponsor brands, and sponsor display, advertising your products on all of your other products. This launch was very simple, but a lot of launches aren't quite this simple and have a lot more involved campaigns in them in different ad types and with more creatives and stuff like that. We have an entire cheat sheet that shows you all the best campaign setups and step-by-step how to set them up. The link to download that is in the description of this video. It's free. We just updated this cheat sheet, so now it has not only how to set up each of the campaigns, but also a step-by-step video in the ad console of how to optimize each of these campaigns. My team at Sophie Society worked really hard to put this together. We just came out with the new version only a couple weeks ago, so if you've already gotten it, I'd recommend you download it again, because we just released the new version of this with all the newest campaigns and also a bunch of examples of real-life product launches and brands that are scaling and what their campaign structure looks like. It's all in the cheat sheet download in the first link in the description of this video. You can download it there. I recommend you do that now. And if you want to check out the video that I mentioned before about how to benchmark your click-through rate and conversion rate so you can find out the insights you need to get above benchmark, check out this video here, and I'll see you guys over there.